Hi curious souls, I'm Mukta and you're watching the Sibyl Revealing Secrets. In this video, we'll be discussing the Magician card. And again, I need to mention that I hope that you have already meditated with the card and have written your rough meaning and then you're watching this video. If you haven't, then please pause this video, do that first and then continue watching it. So let's start with the different interpretations of the Magician card. The Magician card is believed to be a card of pure intention and will. It is the card of surprises, the card of creativity and innovation. It also symbolizes power of determination and power of creation. It talks about the masculine energy and the know-how, skill set when you combine a lot of things in order to produce something. It talks about persuasion and action, a kind of a go-get-it kind of an attitude. It is a card of a beginning in the sense that in the Fool card you were thinking of starting something new, whereas over here you've started taking actions to start something new. So this is the actual beginning, the materialistic or the physical beginning. The Magician card also talks about adaptation. So you try to adapt yourself according to the given situations or the conditions, and you try to be creative with all the different things that you have around yourself. I personally take the Magician as the element of surprise. Anything can happen. It can be a good surprise or a bad surprise, but most of the times it is a good one. Many a times when there's a guidance reading, I take this as the potential or the ability to make things happen. So I would tell my client that you have everything at your disposal. All you need to do is start working and you'll get what you want. In fact, you might get better than what you want. Looking at the card symbols, again in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck you are able to see a yellow sky. So that will again talk about happiness and cheerfulness. So that's a given thing in a lot of cards in RWS. One thing that I find really peculiar about a Magician card is that you have an infinity sign on the head of the Magician, which talks about the infinite possibilities that the Magician is capable of. So the Magician can do anything and can bring anything into existence in the materialistic and the physical world. You're able to see that infinity sign even at the head of the Magician in the Shadowscapes deck. And that would also mean the same, that the Magician basically has the power to create anything and everything. If you look at the overall posture of the Magician in both the cards, you talk about alertness and preparedness, or in this one you talk about he's about to do some work because he is really upright and proper posture and he has a lot of stuff on his table, he has some tool in his hand as well, so he's going to work on something, and over here he has started working on something that he's intending to. So Magician is also a card of action or doing things basically. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you can notice that the Magician is pointing to the heaven and the earth. And the Magician has all the four elements or all the four suits of tarot on his table. So basically he is having access to everything in the world. So he has everything at his disposal, although limited quantity of it, and that is why he can make different permutations and combinations and create different new things from these things. Him pointing the heaven and the earth can be taken as a sign of symmetry, that whatever is there up in the heavens, you have the similar thing on earth, and hence you should not keep on wondering as to what is there over there. You should try and do something with what you already have on earth and you will be able to feel as if you are on heaven. Another interpretation is a little shortened version of that interpretation that I already spoke, which is that he's trying to say that the heaven and the earth are pretty similar. So you have heaven on earth when you work or when you do things, when you make things happen. The overall thing like heaven, earth, all the suits on the table also signify integration and connection. The magician is trying to tell you that everything in the world is connected. Come what may, you have some or the other connection with everything. So you should not look at anything in isolation. You should look things from a holistic point of view. There are flowers above and below, and most of the times in a magician card you get to see red and white colored flowers, which talk about symmetry because you're able to see them up, down, both ways. And they also talk about the need of duality, that you cannot look at things from one single perspective. You need to have duality in perception, and overall everything needs to have duality. For example, where there's life, there needs to be death. So everything is supposed to have symmetry as well as duality. Without the two of it, things would be incomplete. You're able to see that kind of duality even in the Shadowscapes magician card, wherein you're able to see those flowers not together but in a different sphere. So this is the side where you find white flowers, and this is the side where you find not really red but orange flowers, which again talk about this same duality. In this particular card, you're not able to see the 4 suits of tarot, but you're able to see their elements. So there are these 4 things hanging from the magician's wing. This one is kind of a grass or a leaf sort of a thing, which represents earth. This is a feather which represents air. This is a shell which represents water, and this is fire, like fire is there in lantern, so fire represents fire. So earth is for pentacles, air is for wands, water is for cups, and fire, what? Obviously swords. Over here, the black and white wing is a very important thing to notice because this focuses on the importance of intention. We are able to see that everything is at the magician's disposal in both the cards, but this card prominently highlights the fact that the magician has the possibility or has the potential of making things negative or positive. It depends on his intention. So over here we are able to see black and white wing both, and which talks about that he can have malicious intentions but he hasn't yet done anything in those regards. The posture of the magician in this card is very fascinating to me because the magician is at a very upright and alert position but is sitting on the toes. So kind of the magician is grounded but has immense focus and concentration, immense power and stability in himself, because of which the magician is able to balance everything. In fact, the magician is having so many things on him. So another interpretation can be that he is taking a lot of burdens and is handling all of the things very nicely. So he is having good balance in everything that is required to be done, and he is fulfilling all the responsibilities that he is expected to or required to. Another thing that I find kind of interesting is that I think that this is a dragon, a small dragon over here. Some people think that it's a horn. I think it's a dragon. It is your choice what you want to think. The horn might be a representative of the malicious intentions, like we said in the black wing, but it can also be a representative of a lot of other things that he can do with the help of the horn. But over here, because I look at it as a dragon who's trying to bother him or disturb him, but his focus is undisturbed. So this kind of tells us that when you really want to make things happen, you need to have that amount of focus that nothing can move you or disturb you. You are able to do everything very well if you have that amount of determination and focus in you. So mainly the magician is considered to be a very skillful, know-how sort of a card, wherein you can make things happen, wherein you expect a lot of surprises. So it is not necessary to go with the predicted things. You might find a lot of unpredictability around you, and you should kind of be fine with it or mentally prepared with it. Most of the times it's going to bring something positive. When the magician comes reversed, it is taken either as misuse of power or holding back of power. So it can mean that the client has the power and the potential to do a lot of things, but is kind of lying to himself or underestimating himself, or is afraid to face himself, because this power can be a negative power as well. So the client is trying to be ignorant so that the client does not end up doing something negative. And the other possible interpretation of the reversed magician is that the person might be misusing the power. So the person has everything at disposal but has some negative intentions. So the intention that is supposed to be either open or positive has been fixated on negative, and the power is used for something that's not good. So some amount of corruption or such things are going on, and you need to be careful to make things right. So I hope these interpretations were of help to you. If they were, then please do hit the like button. Also write down your meaning of the magician card, not only in your journal but also in the comments below, because as we discussed in the previous video, sharing our meanings of the cards would help all of us, would help me and the other viewers. Also, it will be great if you continue to do the exercise that was mentioned in the previous video, which is that you try to look around, to look into your life and in your surroundings. Try to find things that are similar to or relate to the meaning of the magician card. And if you find something, then it will be helpful if you write that as well in the comments down below. Share this video to people who might be interested in knowing the magician card better or learning tarot as a whole, and subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more such different interpretations of each and every tarot card. I'll post one video every weekend, and in each video I'll be discussing one tarot card. So I'll see you next weekend. Till then, bye bye, take care and stay curious.